Important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
In a few moments, the news.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Edited by Catherine Pereira. Read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. Supreme Court decision on 20th Amendment was presented to Parliament. An agreement has been reached at the Cabinet meeting to include 3 facts to the Constitution. The Prime Minister presented the appropriation draft bill for the 2021 financial year. The government has taken measures to provide relief facilities including essential food items for the people living in 19 police areas in the Gampaha district. 87 people have been taken into custody who violated the quarantine curfew rule. And in world news, US President Donald Trump and Biden feud over debate topics. Now the local news in detail. The secret decision of the Supreme Court regarding the constitutionality of the draft bill of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was presented to the Parliament. The decision was presented to the House by Speaker of the Parliament Mahinda Yapa Bewardena. Speaker announced that the clauses 3, 5, 14 and 22 of the 20th Amendment in the present form are inconsistent with the Constitution and need to be approved by people at a referendum. Announcing the determination of the Supreme Court, he said such inconsistencies in clauses 3 and 14 would ease by amending in accordance with the proposed committee stage amendments. Inconsistency in clause 5 would cease if it was suitably amended as specified in the determination. The Cabinet approval has been given at the Cabinet meeting held on the 2nd of September to submit to the Parliament after gazetting the draft bill on the amendment of the 20th Constitution. The Cabinet has also approved to submit proposals on the draft bills considering the decision of Supreme Court of the draft bill to the Parliamentary Working Committee meeting. Minister Keheli Rambukwala says the people of the country requested at the last presidential election and as well as at the general election to abolish the 19th Amendment to the Constitution and to introduce a fruitful constitution to the country. Joining at a media briefing to inform cabinet decisions through online, the minister stated that the people of the country has given 2/3 majority in this regard. An agreement has been reached at the cabinet meeting held yesterday after lengthy discussions regarding the facts on the 20th Amendment presented by several groups, including the Mahasangha and religious leaders. Minister Udaya Gammanpilla says that all views were discussed as a democratic country at the cabinet meeting held yesterday regarding the 3 main facts to be included to the Constitution. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presented an appropriation of the draft bill for the financial year of 2021 to the Parliament. Answering a question raised by parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva, Minister Bandula Gunawardena stated that this has been presented to the Parliament in a transparent manner through the interim account approved to obtain a loan of 2,650 billion rupees for the year 2020. Under the Standing Order 27/2, answering to a question raised by the opposition leader Sajit Premadasa, Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi said that the government has allocated finance to provide relief and essential food items for the people in 19 police areas of the Gampar district. She also stated that measures have already been taken to provide 5,000 rupees for the people in Minuangoda, Deulapitia and Veyangoda areas. 2 orders are being debated in Parliament under the Sri Lanka Development Act. Beginning at the debate, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the government has taken utmost measures to develop the export sector in the country. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999.
Continuing local news, police spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana says a total of 388 individuals have been arrested so far for violating the quarantine curfew in the 19 police areas in Gampar district. He said that 86 persons were arrested during the past 24 hours for violating the quarantine curfew. Meanwhile, a total of 58 vehicles, including 40 motorcycles and 12 three-wheelers, were taken into custody for violating the quarantine curfew until this morning. Long-distance buses will be allowed to pass through the curfew areas. However, they will not be allowed to load and unload passengers. The writ application filed by MP Rishad Baduddin, who was wanted over misappropriation of millions of public funds during last year's presidential election, has been fixed for support on November 6th. The petition, which seeks the appeals court to prevent the Criminal Investigation Department from arresting the parliamentarian, was taken up before Justices Kumuduni Vikramasinghe and Subeta Rajakarana. Meanwhile, the appeal court has also ordered to convene on the 19th of next February to consider the complaints made against the Venerable Galaboda Tenyansara under the accusation of insulting to the court. Notorious underworld figure and drug kingpin Makandure Madush has been shot dead in a crossfire between police and other suspected underworld figures at Maligawatta housing complex. After uncovering information regarding a stock of 22 kilograms of heroin hidden at the Maligawatta housing complex, officers of the Colombo Crime Division had visited that location along with Makandure Madush. However, suspected underworld figures and drug traffickers had then reportedly opened fire at them. Makandure Madush and 2 officers of the CCD were shot in the crossfire that ensued. Madush had later succumbed to injuries. A new computer input is to be introduced for the tourist arrivals in the country after controlling the COVID-19 situation in the country. This will be carried out under the advice of the Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. The United Nations Development Programme has given necessary grants to the Tourism Authority in this regard. This input was innovated by the ICTA. That ends local news. The main news story follows.
An important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Railway Department says a decision has been taken to change the train operations from today, considering the present situation. Accordingly, the trains operated from Colombo Fort to Kandy and Maradana to Beliata will not be operated from today until further notice. This news could be heard through the website www.slbcnews.lk. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, a program to provide solutions for the problems of the people living in Eastern Province through the telephone and email is being implemented. The governor of the province, Mrs. Anuradha Yahampath, has taken this decision considering the corona situation. Opportunities have been made for the public to present their problems through post as well. That came to you in Watchlight, and a bulletin of world news follows. The headlines of the world news: U.S. President Donald Trump and Biden feud over debate topics. Argentina's confirmed cases surpass 1 million. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake off southern Alaska. The world news now in detail. U.S. President Donald Trump and his White House challenger Joe Biden are feuding over plans for their final TV debate. The Republican president's campaign accused organizers of this week's showdown of helping the Democrat by leaving out foreign policy as a topic. The Biden camp shot back that Mr. Trump was trying to avoid questions about his response to the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Biden has a commanding lead nationally in opinion polls with 2 weeks to go until the election. But he has a smaller lead in the handful of key U.S. states that will ultimately decide the outcome. Argentina has become the 5th country in the world to record 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases. In the past 24 hours, there were 12,982 new infections, pushing the overall number to 1 million, as the country's health ministry said. It reported 451 new deaths, bringing the nation's toll to 26,716. With a population of about 45 million, Argentina is the smallest nation to have passed the 1 million mark. It follows the US, India, Brazil, and Russia, all of whom have far bigger populations. Argentina was one of the first countries in South America to close its borders and impose other restrictions. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake was recorded south of the Aleutian Islands in the U.S. state of Alaska. The Pacific Tsunami Center says there is no longer a tsunami threat, but an advisory is in effect. The powerful quake happened yesterday. The epicenter was at a depth of 40 kilometers. The center said that 67 centimeter tsunami waves were observed about 90 minutes later in the sparsely populated city of Sandpoint. The center is recommending people in the area to remain observant and exercise normal caution near the sea. It also wants people to be carefully monitor sea level changes, as there may be small fluctuations. With that, we end the world news and the headlines of the foreign news once again. U.S. President Donald Trump and Biden feud over debate topics. Argentina's confirmed cases surpass 1 million. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake off southern Alaska. With that, we conclude foreign news. Development news follows.
Development News is brought to you by...
My wife always sets a full lunch table, even if it's just the two of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neve.
Taking a look at the development news, The government has decided to construct a National Pharmaceutical Qualitative Laboratory and a building complex for the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Authority. The cabinet approval has been received to acquire 3 acres from the 13th acre of land belonging to the Milco Private Company situated at the Kirula Gramaniladari Division of the Havelock Town Divisional Secretariat Division. That was Development News.
When Tati bought a new family car, it wasn't just for the 4 of us.
It's a 10-seater van. Enough for friends and relatives too.
Mummy insisted on building an extra room in our new house. Well, you never know who'll come to stay. We need more pillows too.
When I was studying late, Nangi would come by to help.
No, I don't know physics, but I do know you need a Munchie Super Cream Cracker.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others.
When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves.
Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan නෙවෙයි.
Sports News is brought to you by
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
In sports news, the Dadala Sports Complex in Galle would be soon upgraded to an international beach volleyball and beach football centre under the directions of Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Namal Rajapaksa. In fact, the minister has already decided to hand over the Dadala Sports Complex to the Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation. The minister also headed a strong delegation to inspect the refurbishment work being carried out at the Dadala Sports Complex in Galle on Saturday. The minister had instructed officials to construct a beach volleyball and a beach football arena closer to the sea area adjoining the Dadala Sports Complex. That was Sports News.
Hey guys, we've got our very own Queen Bear here to review something for us.
Okay, here we go. Is the right amount of crunch and OMG so much chocolate. The texture is so good. It's creamy and velvety and just so much chocolate. The packaging is super cool and new and there's like so much chocolate. And OMG, the taste, it tastes like so good and there's so much chocolate. Like with every bite. 10 out of 10 for me.
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The LOLC Group commenced its operations in Zambia recently with the official launch of its inaugural branch located in Lusaka. The company, which will operate as LOLC Finance Zambia Limited, is a deposit-taking, non-banking financial institution and will provide finance products such as home loans, motor vehicle finance, business loans and consumer loans, among other products, thus helping to narrow the access to financial services gap in Zambia. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news, courtesy of
Business Deals. Now easy, it just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and more benefits.
Taking a look at the economic news, Sri Lankan agri-businesses needs to look for opportunities to add value to their businesses through value chain gaps. It is also essential to conduct the value chain analysis, cut back on shortages, prepare product plans and work with others in the chain to add value to the customer. Speaking at a webinar organized by Sri Lanka Export Development Board under the theme Value Chain Development and Business Opportunities in Agriculture Sector in Sri Lanka, Rohana Gamage, Project Director in Agriculture Sector Modernization Project under the Ministry of Plantations, said that the value chain is a process in which a company adds value to its raw materials to produce products and eventually sell those products to consumers. That ends Economic News.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at several places in Western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matara districts. Gusty winds about 50 km per hour can be expected in Batticaloa, Trincomalee, Matara and Hambantota districts and in the western slopes of the Central Hills. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding the news, the headlines once again. Supreme Court decision on 20th Amendment was presented to Parliament. An agreement has been reached at the Cabinet meeting to include 3 facts to the Constitution. The Prime Minister presented the appropriation draft bill for the 2021 financial year. The government has taken measures to provide relief facilities, including essential food items, for the people living in 19 police areas in the Gampaha district. 87 people have been taken into custody who violated the quarantine curfew rule.